This is a tutorial from Ready Ag on how to set up a Raven RCM or rate control module on a Pro 700 display. Here we're going to turn the key on. Tractor does not have to be started. So we're going to wait for the screen to start up. Here you can see that this is a Pro 700 monitor. We know that the controller is hooked up and communicating through the isobus connection, so we're going to select virtual terminal drill. We're going to select the option here, and we're waiting for the Raven to show up, the controller to catch up. So we'll select the Raven controller icon here. So first we're going to select profile name, and we'll just call it Ready Ag. Machine type, we're going to do generic. I know it's an air cart, but we're going to do generic here. This particular application width is 57 feet, and this is the total drill width. Next, there is one ECU, and that's the Raven RCM on the back of the cart. There are 3 products that we're going to set up for 3 tanks. We are going to assign one fan speed RPM sensor to this. We will leave this unchecked since we cannot control the fan speed with a PWM valve. Rather, it's controlled with a tractor. For the product type, select the product. This particular customer does only seed. Here we can select several different options, but this time I'm going to pick granular RPM maintained. And the description of this is explained here for any questions on that. Same thing with product 2. And again for product 3. And here we're going to select no on whether to have section drivers shared between all products, and that's so that we can turn on and off each tank from the home screen display. It can be yes, but we're going to select no. Number of section groups, we're going to do 3. And no master clutch selected. And the granular product sections power to apply, we're going to leave unchecked now, but it may need to be checked later. And this is just an example of the section harnessing. So here we're going to select sections 1 through 3. And each section or each tank or each section number has only one section because it's going to be the full width of the machine and there's no section control here. And here we're going to leave this as it's selected. And auxiliary drivers, there are none. You could use these to control LED lights in the back or any other 12-volt type system. There are none here. And this gives a summary of how we have it set up. We have our different section groups, essentially different tanks and different products, and they're all one section width of 57 feet. Scale setup, there are no scales on here, so none. There will be no pressure sensors. Height switch will be default since we're utilizing the existing drill work switch. RPM calibration for the fan. This one is 1 since it's a Flexi-Coil New Holland case style. John Deere or another manufacturer maybe 2. Just check your fan. Here the customer wants to run at 3500 RPM fan speed, so we're going to set the low limit at 3250 and the upper limit at 3750, but adjust this to your desired settings. And there are RPM sensors for each product, and we're using PWM valves for each product, and those valves from Ready are PWM closed. They're in a closed position at a static state. And these settings are adequate, the ones that are default. And you can adjust these as needed later on. Coil frequency for these particular valves that Ready supplies are a range from 100 to 250 Hertz. So we're going to just start at 175. And again, these can be adjusted as needed. Product 1 is going to be wheat. So we're going to set it up as 48 pounds per cubic foot. And consult your manual for what settings you'll need for your particular product. This just needs to have a value. So we'll pick 2 pounds per revolution, pulses per revolution. This is 120 for this particular setup because it's based on how fast the meter roller spins, not how many tones are on the wheel. So keep that in mind. For this Flexi-Coil style, we have a gear reduction of 2 to 1. So instead of 60 on the tone wheel, even though that's where the sensor is, it's actually spinning at 120. So double check that. Make sure you got the right pulses identified. Since this is a 3 tank, we're going to set up product 1 tank capacity, and this is in pounds. And this particular one is 8,560 pounds. And the current tank level is 0, and we want to set a low tank level at some value. We're going to pick 1,000 here, and we'll turn the alarm on. And the bin level sensors will not work on this one. He's got cameras, and so we will leave the low bin level sensors off. We're going to do preset values here. 108 per the customer's request, and we'll bump it up here. This is so that you can just easily select it on the screen. We want a decimal shift of 1 because we're also doing canola, and this decimal shift will force all 3 products the same. So if you want to show a decimal on any of your tanks or products, you have to select this here, and it will apply to all of them. Bump rate will do 1. And off rate alarm, for now we'll set up at 5%. With an alarm, this can be set to any value based on user preference. And here is product 2, tank 2. And we're going to leave these settings as they are. And it matched what we set up for product 1, so we'll continue. Product density for canola, we're going to select 42 for now. And here we're going to put 0.1 pounds per revolution. Again, this will be 120. This tank capacity is 5,100 pounds. Current tank level is empty, and we'll set an alarm at 500. We'll set the rate at 4.2. And this rate here of 4.4 with a bump rate of 0.1. %. Again, same thing for product 3, tank 3. Product density will be same since he's going to do wheat out of this tank again. And we'll just set a value here, which will change once it gets calibrated. 120 again. Tank capacity for the third tank, 11,160 pounds for this particular air cart. It's empty, low level. We'll do 1,000. We'll turn the alarm on. We'll set these same as tank 1. And here's the setup summary of this setup. And here it's saving all those changes as a predefined setting user profile. Now we can move to calibration. If there's a height switch on the drill, make sure this box is checked. Test speed we can set here at 5. And the master switch on and off. There's a switch on the floor here. When you click on it, it'll turn the system on or off, the master. So this has to be functioning for the system to work. And then there's an additional switch, which is indicated by the up or down arrow here, green, red. Right now the drill is in the down position, so it arrows down. Here we can switch between the different products and the different tanks. And you can see the pounds per acre that we entered in, the different values. And here we can turn each tank or product on or off right from this screen. So this completes the initial setup of a Raven RCM on a Pro 700 display.